Hey guys, the Explorer 4 here. Welcome back to some more reviews, and welcome back to the Wes Craven movie reviewing marathon. And today, we're getting to one of my personal favorites, Scream 3 from 2000. Gets a 5.6. My bad. I was making the rating go up there. Gets a 5.6 on IMDb, and wasn't written by Kevin. It says it was written by Kevin Williamson. But I'm pretty sure that this movie was written by Aaron Kruger, as I believe Kevin Williamson was very, very busy at this time. He was doing all kinds of projects, so I don't think he had a lot of time to be totally involved with Scream 3. Directed by Wes Craven once again, and this is the first movie that Wes Craven made in the 2000s, and in my opinion, it's one hell of a way to kick it off. The story, it takes place in Hollywood. You've got Sydney, who's not there. She's out in the middle of nowhere. She's kind of secluded away from everybody and is trying to stay low-key. She changed her name, has a job where she answers a crisis calls. You know, people calling in and, you know, abuse victims, and she helps people that way. I thought that was a pretty good storyline for her, to be helping people, helping them overcome their trauma, their fear. I think that's a pretty cool thing that they had her do. Meanwhile, in Hollywood, you have Courtney Cox, of course, playing Gal Weathers once again, David Arquette, who's a consultant on a new Stab movie being made, Stab 3. And, you know, one thing leads to another. Is a killer, another Ghostface killer, looking for Sydney and attacking David Arquette and Courtney Cox. And basically, they got to figure out who this new killer is. And somehow, some way, Sydney's past with her mother and everything is tied into the story. And so whoever this Ghostface killer is knows information about Sydney, knows about her past, and they've got to figure out who this person is. The movie starts out with Cotton Weary Liev Schreiber from Scream 1 and 2, where they kill him off at the very start, basically pulling a similar move to what happened with Drew Barrymore. I guess doing more of a shock kill, which it wasn't as effective as it was in the first Scream, but it worked for what it was in this movie. And Scream 3, this movie has gotten me so much heat over the years. I've gotten a lot of people just being confused by me saying I love this movie. But I do. I don't think it's scary. I really don't think it's scary at all, or creepy at all, or brutal. It has its moments of some intense stuff, but for the most part, it really went for the camp, the fun factor, the thriller aspect, having it be much more of just a wild ride. And I dug that. I really did. I think this is such a unique movie, such a unique Scream movie. And this is my favorite of the sequels. This is the one I revisit the most. This is the one I always go back to. And I don't know, it just got an energy to it, a vibe to it. I love that it takes place in Hollywood. Of course, they had to change it up because I think it was going to take place in Woodsboro again. But what happened was the Columbine massacre happened, and they just was like, okay, we're not having this in a high school. We're going to put this in Hollywood. I love the setting of Hollywood. I think that them putting it there matched, since the franchise is all about movies and scary movies and films. It fits perfectly that it's there. I love the setting of Hollywood. I like the idea of it. It's a cool gimmick for the movie. I like the idea that there's this cast that, you know, the guy who's playing Dewey's character in the movie, and then you got the girl who's working with, you know, Courtney Cox, which is just an actress, but she's pretending to be Gale Weathers. And she's trying to hype up Gale Weathers and help her out and everything. I thought that was pretty fun. But yeah, I like the idea of, you know, the guy who's producing the movie is Lance Henriksen, who's this real shady, weird executive. Kind of wonder if it was based off of, you know, the Weinsteins or something, but I don't know. He's definitely a weird, like, producer character. Then you have this guy who's directing the movie, and he ties into the movie later on. a guy named Roman Scott Foley. And I just don't understand why this movie gets so much hate, man. I really don't. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's said to be one of the worst horror film sequels, the worst one in the series. And it gets a 5.6. Is not as low as I thought it would be. Honestly, I thought it would be a lot lower than that, because this movie, I hardly ever hear people talk about this movie in a positive way. So the fact that it gets almost a 6 out of 10 is incredible. But yeah, I mean, Scream 3, it gets so much hate, and I find it so entertaining, so fun. I mean, how can you not have fun with this movie? You've got Jay and Silent Bob having a cameo, which is just really over the top and out there. They bring back Randy in the most ridiculous way, and the fact that he made this tape, so just in case another killer came back, he can explain the rules in this movie. The rules of the trilogy. The trilogy idea is fun. I don't know if it works as well as the sequel aspect, but it works for what they're doing here. The trilogy aspect, how everything ties back to the first movie, it matches the movie. It ain't like it's out of nowhere. It matches, but it's not as catchy as the sequel idea for Scream 2. But yeah, this one's just, the ending taking place in the manor, almost like a haunted house movie with just all the old school furniture and everything. And a lot of people say it is similar to a Scooby-Doo movie. It's like almost if a rated R Scooby-Doo movie was made with a serial killer. And I get that vibe. It's got a lot of just fun scenes, fun kills. There's a girl that's picking up all these props, these movie props, and trying to use it to fight back against Ghostface, and they're all useless. They're all just movie props. That's a pretty cool idea. I think that's a pretty fun concept. And the two-way mirror death scene, the explosion, the house explosion. I like the fact that David Arquette and Courtney Cox are the leads in this movie. Neve Campbell is sort of a lead. She's there. About halfway through, she comes into the plot full-time and is helping out. And from there on, she's the lead. But I like how the first half of the movie is like, okay, let's have Dewey and Gale as the leads. Let's give them some screen time. I thought that was really cool. They did that, and I think they take the story in so many different directions that you don't really expect, and it makes it just engaging and interesting to me. To me, it does. I know to a lot of other people, it's horrible, it's terrible, but I think Aaron Kruger, there are scenes, there are ideas that don't work, but I think for the most part, he did a pretty good job, and he added his own campy style to the movie. It felt different from Kevin Williamson, but it still matched Scream, in my opinion. But I think it's got a lot of fun kills. It's not super gory or bloody. It's not trying to be another just slasher. It is technically a slasher, but it's not. The kills aren't as memorable as the other two movies, but it's going for much more than just kills. It's got explosions, chase scenes. The ending is just full of suspense, and well, it's trying to. I don't really find the movie scary. The first Scream is a bit scary. Part 2's kind of intense. Part 4, they made Ghostface creepy again, and scary. Well, not really creepy, but just brutal in that movie. I mean, Scream 4, we'll get to that. Ghostface is not playing around in that movie. Here, it is kind of a cool idea for Ghostface, how it's just one killer in this movie. Interesting. The fact that, spoiler alert, Roman is the Ghostface killer is a good idea. He's a director. He's a horror movie director. So in a way, he's making his own horror movie in real life. That's a cool idea. I don't hate that ending. I don't hate the ending twist. I think it adds more to the past. It adds more to Billy and Stu's story. All it really does is just add more layers to everything. I don't think it necessarily hurts the movie. I don't think it necessarily is bad for the movie. I think it just adds even more layers to it. The fact that Sydney's mom went to Hollywood to try out for movies, and the studio executives and producers were all sleazy about it, and so she had Roman, but then left him there, and he showed up on her doorstep, and she turned him away, didn't want anything to do with him, and him having this revenge idea. And of course, he's a director. I'm going to make a trilogy, which I'm pretty sure he didn't plan Scream 2, but at least for Scream 1 with Billy and Stu, they were already out of their mind. They were crazy already. They were going to do this regardless, but Roman helped push them along. It wasn't like Roman, it isn't like Roman planned for every single event to happen in the movies. He just, gave them a target and gave them the push that they needed. I like that. I liked how it doesn't affect the story. It doesn't ruin the characters, in my opinion. It doesn't really hurt anything. It's just there to kind of push things along, to say, okay, Roman's been there since the beginning. I buy it. I think it's at least a bit believable. And the ending with like I said, in the manor, sort of going for a haunted manor look, I like that. People getting thrown out of windows. The two-way mirror kill was pretty cool. The idea that there's a knife flipping through the air POV, and you think it's going to hit Dewey in the head, and it does, but it doesn't stab him. It hits him with the butt of the blade of the knife. And so it just kind of knocks him down for a little bit. And I like how Dewey's trying to be the lead. He's trying to be the action hero, but he's just failing at every attempt. And it just matches. It's fun seeing that. Courtney Cox looking real rough in this movie. I mean, the hair, the clothes, she's been roasted endlessly about that. And I mean, it's there. It's definitely there. It's bad. It's really bad. So whoever's idea it was to do that to her hair and have her wear bright yellow suits and real awful costumes. Just, I don't know. The people who were in charge of that must not have liked Courtney Cox, or just didn't like the character of Gale. I don't know what's going on here, but it was just all over the place. But besides that, I thought it was cool that she was kind of the heroine of the movie for a while, until Neve Campbell came in. And that could have been a huge issue, because essentially you're having your lead come in and, okay, y'all had your time, but I'm back. It's not like that, though. It's real natural. It doesn't feel forced. Neve Campbell is afraid to return to this. It's a fear that she has to overcome, so it ends up becoming an arc for the character. And when she shows up, it's a good moment, and it's badass. It's your turn to scream, and she just shoots the Ghostface killer. I think she's just, Neve Campbell in these movies is just, her performance is fantastic. And I like how in this movie, the character is just facing fear, going through things, and trying to just go through this arc. So I think all of the acting, the characters is on point. I think the ideas they bring to the movie, like they have Carrie Fisher make a cameo. I think it was Carrie Fisher. I'm going to check that real quick. But I like how it's like, oh, you look just like her. It's like, no, I didn't sleep with the director to get the part. It's just like, what the heck? Yeah, it is Carrie Fisher. It was cool seeing Jamie Kennedy back. It was cool seeing, it was fun seeing the Jay and Silent Bob cameo. So I think that was, I don't know, just the fun, campy nature. It worked for me. It's such a fast-paced movie for being almost 2 hours long. I mean, it's not boring. I like the way it's shot. It's got a cool look to it. It's directed, once again, very well by Wes Craven. And I just think, I think Scream 3 is a great one. I don't understand the hate. I think there are, like, technically better made movies that Wes Craven's done. I think there are definitely better made movies overall than Scream 3. But I think Scream 3 is a underrated, fun, entertaining thrill ride of a sequel. Is it scary? No. Is it not as good as the other ones? Like, I prefer the first one over this. I'd prefer Ideas in 2 and 4 over this. But I'll tell you this, it's 1,000 times better than 5 and 6. And I actually have reasons for that. First of all, they had David Arquette and Courtney Cox as the leads in this movie for a while. They actually did something with them. Neve Campbell isn't just saying, "Oh, that's happening again. Oh, well, too bad. I'm not coming back." Like, no, it's not like that. She actually has to overcome her fear and show up, and she wants to go there and help. And, you know, she ends up going to Hollywood. She ends up flying all the way out to Hollywood. You know, there's really not a hesitation to it. She just goes right out there and helps them. You've got the Hollywood aspect. You've got the ending with just making everything tie together. It feels more natural. It just I don't know, it works a lot better than 5 and 6. And I don't understand why this movie's ranked so low. But yeah, I think Scream 3 is pretty good, pretty well made. I really enjoyed this one. I always have. And yeah, I think it's underrated, man. I think it deserves a lot more credit. But anyways, y'all, I'm going to give Scream 3 a 4 out of 5. If you've seen this movie, comment down below your guys' thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think about it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting a lot of comments and people be like, what the fuck? But anyways, y'all, thanks for watching. 4 out of 5 stars from me. I enjoy the sequel quite a bit. If you guys want to follow me on social media, all links to that will be in the description below. And stay tuned for, I believe, Cursed is my next movie I'm talking about. Cursed. I think it's up next. But anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and Explorer 4 is out. And stay tuned for more reviews. Peace.